This one's starting off on a tune. We have the Mr. Christmas World's Fair Bump and Go race cars. Apparently it intermittently rotates the cars, the bumper cars. So it's working now, but apparently it wasn't working before. Also, the handrail right here has come out. You see me wiggle it. I just pushed it back in, so it needs a drop of glue. There's glue on these, and there's no glue here, but there's glue on these, so apparently they just didn't glue that one in. But it's a pretty cool little piece. You got little bumper cars going around in circles and smacking into things, and let's see what it looks like in the dark, since it's currently working. Since it has lights to illuminate the track, so I'm really curious. There we go. Of course, oh, it just stopped. Look at that. Come on. There we go. So, there is a problem. We're going to open it up and find out why it's intermittent. But yeah, there it is in extremely low light, because it has white spotlights on the inside. It has 4, 2 on each side. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Lights coming back. Here we go, full illumination. This also on the back has volume, which appears to work, off on switch, and a new song switch. And this is Christmas. See, the ones year round, this is Christmas. So it works. This is a 6-volt unit. And it is 6 volts DC. So that way, if you have this unit and you need a new power supply, you don't screw them up, because Mr. Christmas, they're all over the place on their powers. So, it was given to me because it lost its ability to move the cars. The cars came in this Ziploc baggie, since the foam that this fits in, the foam area isn't strong. So these are all inside this little Ziploc, where I'm going to put them back so they don't get lost or broken. So I'm going to stick them up high. There's a hole right here. I'm not sure if something's supposed to go there, or if that's like a reset. Character is supposed to be there according to the picture on the box. There's a picture on the box for that picture, but I'm looking at the picture. In case you're wondering, it plays a total of 30 songs, 15 Christmas, 15 all year. You got the standard for Christmas, Joy to the World, We Wish You Merry Christmas, Jingle Bells, O Little Town of Bethlehem, Hark the Herald Angels Sing, 12 Days of Christmas, Deck the Halls with Boughs of Holly, Silent Night, O Come All Ye Faithful, Away in a Manger, We Three Kings of Orient are, Holly and Ivy, God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear, and Good King Wenceslas. Sorry, the box is damaged right there. There's a scrape in the text. Your year-round songs are You, Oh You Beautiful Doll, The Can, Entertainer, For Me and My Gal, Give My Regards to Broadway, Blue Danube Waltz, By the Light of the Silvery Moon, East Side, West Side, The Skater's Waltz, Let Me Call You Sweetheart. The band played on while strolling through the park one day in the good old summertime. Shine on Harvest Moon. Again, the box is damaged, so I apologize. and wait till the sun shines Nelly. Sorry. There's scratches in the text, so I have to fill in the missing letters as best I can. So, like most Mr. Christmas, that isn't a Ferris wheel or a carousel, all the screws are on the bottom. And there is a lot of screws. I'm assuming these proud screws hold on this plastic shroud. And then these recess screws hold on this plastic base. These inner recess screws so probably hold on the mechanism, and this appears to be the track pattern. These raised pieces, and there's your speaker groove. So let's start unscrewing stuff. I'm just going to start with these outer recess screws and see if the base can come off with the mechanism attached. I might have to take off these proud screws for the hood. I don't know. We're going to find out. Wrong one. And if this is standard to Mr. Christmas, pretty much all these screws are going to be the same. So you don't have to worry about mixing them up. But I'm going to pull out a magnet so I don't lose them. And let's see if this is the last screw we need to take out to separate it. No, it looks like I'm probably going to have to unscrew this outer shroud. When I start lifting the front, it starts lifting, and then I can see this plastic corner starting to move. I figured that might be a possibility. And yes, so far every screw I've unscrewed is the same. While I'm unscrewing it, I'm using my left hand to keep pressure on it so it doesn't just flop and fall over. Now, let's see if she'll come apart. Oh, I didn't even notice there was a picture of a race car. There's supposed to be a picture there too. That's pretty interesting. So, we got the shroud separated. Now can we get the base to separate? Yes, those inner screws are the mechanism. I can see that. Alright, what is holding you? I'm applying some pressure. I'm not doing a whole bunch because I do not want to break this. I'm trying to just get enough so I can see inside. does look like some of these mechanism screws go all the way through the mechanism into the actual deck. That, or it's just hard to see through the gap. So I'm going to take out these inner screws now. Which there is 6 of. So basically, we're just removing every screw we can see. Okay. Yeah, you have to remove them all. So let me get this set up high so it doesn't get damaged. Be careful with this because we do have the 4 wires for the 4 LEDs. We got a small machine screw here and a small machine screw there, it looks like. Yes. That one's just spinning. This one's unscrewing. So if you have a screw that just spins in place, if you apply pressure on it, you can sometimes get it to unscrew. So I am lifting the edge while turning it, trying to get it to break free. There we go. Got it. 2 itty bitty machine screws. Now we can lift off the plate. There's the back. We're going to set this off to the side. There is our massive mechanism. Look at that. That is impressive. So not only the car is spinning those centric circles right here, but it looks like they can jump from one side to the other with these planetary gears jumping across here and here. So interesting. There is red tape on these gears. I wonder if that's for the timing. These spin freely, probably so the cars can get really close and possibly bump into each other. There is some shredding on the drive belt. I have pieces of black rubber material. So I'm wondering if it's got a broken gear that's binding intermittently, causing the belt to slip. I bet you the problem is in here. All these big gears look good. Here's your speaker. There's your circuit board. Take a quick look at the components, see if I see anything that stands out, like a broken or burnt part. Mainly you want to check all the capacitors, because these capacitors can dry out. And then I check the resistors to see if any of them are burnt, and the transistors and diodes for the same indications of burn. The blob chip is towards the bottom where the speaker is. Then you got your satellite boards, which have your switches and power port. But this belt is slipping and shredding itself. It's got a really good groove dug into it from the drive pulley. Yep, I can feel the click when I turn this. I don't know if you can hear it, I'll be quiet. I don't know if you can hear that crunching sound. I don't know if the camera's microphone's that strong. So we got a broken gear, and it's causing the belt to slip when it binds, because the motor doesn't care, it's going to keep trying to go. And the belt's the weakest part. So I'm going to unscrew the top. You can take the whole motor assembly out by removing the screws that go into the standoffs, but I want to see if we can just unscrew the top and get a peek. And these screws are the same as those screws that hold everything together. So there's our gears. Let's see what we got. Here's our pulley to worm gear. And you can see some of the black on the big pulley. That's from the belt slipping. The little pulley is a lot darker. The worm gear looks good. I don't see any notching. If you look at a worm gear, of course you see all the grooves, but the sides are parallel to each other. On a worn worm gear, the center will be bowed in or concaved. That's a worm gear that's running out of life. We got this gear. This gear looks good. Let's move on to this next gear, which this is a pass-through gear. This gear looks good, but I need to check the big gear on the bottom, so I am going to have to remove the whole assembly, which apparently is just 2 screws. Maybe the crunchiness was just the fact that these gears are loose. Yeah, these gears are loose. 2 of them are. It's a little bit tighter. This gear is pressed on, but it's half moon. It's not knurled, probably because of the torque. There's a lot of rotating mass here. And this gear, which is a transfer gear, oh no, it's split. I see it. Alrighty, we got a split gear. Right now I'm just scraping off the grease. Good lighting helps a lot. So even though I have a lot of light in here, I still need the flashlight to see. Yeah, this one's really hard to see, but there's a hairline fracture that goes on this nose that goes straight up towards the teeth. It doesn't appear to have gotten into the teeth, but it has got a split. It's not going to get any better on its own. I'm going to screw it back down and use the torque of the motor again and see what, I want to see what it does open to the eye, because I'm very curious. Want to see when I feel or hear that click, if that's that gear, or if it was the fact that those 3 gears were loose. 2 of them are really loose. The 3rd one wasn't as bad, which is this guy. This guy was the tightest. But when I was moving them, I noticed they were wobbling because these screws were backing out. So. Remember, if the gear doesn't fit, don't force it. Rotate the gear to where it drops into place. It's possible that with the gears being loose, they were binding intermittently, causing the belt to spin. Or that crack is actually bigger than it appears. and it actually does go into the teeth, even though I can't see with the flashlight because it's not under any stress. So that's what I want to do with power and see what I can find. You put these together, you can use a power tool. I would highly recommend against it, so you can feel the tension and you don't break the plastic, because, you know, it's old. Plug it in. Plug it in. Turn the volume off. Motor spinning beautifully. Put the belt on now. Turn it back on. What those grooves in the bottom do is they make these black inner pieces walk back and forth so they can transfer onto these other magnets. If you watch, see how they touch? See? That would transfer the car over so you can get the big figure 8 pattern. It's pretty cool. I'm not sure why it has teeth on the inside though. You got the teeth here in the center, and you have teeth on the inside of these big gears. They don't touch anything. These black pieces are smooth unless the teeth help it spin, because it's got, well, teeth to grab. And the bottom of these are rubber. That makes sense. So the rubber hits these and causes it to turn. Nice. A lot of engineering. I am going to check the rest of these gears. Since those 3 were loose, I think that was the big problem. Make sure these are all tight. They can only go so tight since there's a standoff and the screw's pressing on the standoff, not on the gear itself. But yeah, these are all, they all turn. Not as much as those though. That's tight. That one's tight. That one's tight. That one's loose. That one's loose. That one's tight. I need a bigger screwdriver for these. Tight. 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 So, there we go. They're all tight now. So, with it open, let's get some racing going on. So, just to keep the track centered, I am going to put the 2 screws back in. Those inner row of screws actually hold the track down from underneath. So I technically wouldn't have to remove them to get the base off. I just have to remove them to remove the track. I'm probably going to put these outer ones in so the track sits flat. One. It's a little hard to do when you're touching this and they're all covered in grease and your fingers get greasy. Okay, so these outer two are holding it down, these outer two are holding it down, so the track is now flat. Let's grab that baggie of bumper cars. The piece that fell wasn't anything related to this. Get these there we go. Just feeling around for the magnets. I mean, technically they should pick up on their own. Technically. There we go. The gears aren't jerky. These are jerky though, and that might be the pads on the bottom. This one's missing its felt pad. I think it's the pads. They're all worn out. They're supposed to be smooth and they're very rough. And if they're supposed to be fabric, they're very hard. Because these gears, as you can see here, they're just moving smoothly. I can see them right here, the three that transfer in the big gear outer ring, and it's moving smoothly, it's not jerky. But I think the reason the cars would physically stop moving was due to the fact that these gears were loose. Because it's coming right along. Almost makes me want to go to a carnival that has bumper cars. I haven't done that since I was a kid. My favorite ride. Love bumper cars. So, it looks like at the moment it's just an issue with the slickness of the cars, the smoothness on the bottom. I don't know if the track's supposed to have like a thin coating on it, which is possible. Probably put a little thin coating of grease or oil on it just to test it, just in a certain spot. I wouldn't do the whole track just to test it. Or it may need to be resurfaced on the bottom of the cars. But these transfer pieces don't appear to be catching any of the cars. There we go. That one just got caught, but it didn't transfer it, it just turned it around. Maybe that's what they're designed to do. That one just got turned by that bar. Again, I thought there was a transfer one side to the other. All it seems to do is rotate the car. You can see it's mostly just circles. You don't see any passages across from any wear. So, but there's no noise coming from here anymore. Probably just the tightness of the gears vibrating up through. So this one's pretty easy to access. You need to take the outer screws out. Technically the inner screws just hold the track. I don't know why it didn't want to come off. It may have just been, this lip may have been caught on the inner ring of the top. It's just not stopping. They're jerky, but they're not stopping. Let's move you to the outside edge. There we go. So we got 11 cars bouncing around. And they're all numbered too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 8, 11, 7, 6, 10, and 12. So there's a car missing. I only count 11. There's 5 and 6. It's 11. So that's all that was in the baggie. Alright, let's put it back together and figure out what we can do to make it smoother. Try not to force it. This one corner doesn't want to drop. I think it's caught on these wires. There we go. There we go. Now on the Lemax, pumpkin ride, I forgot the name of it. I'm not the greatest at remembering all the names of the different pieces. The one where you basically got the bumper cars that go around, but they're bumper pumpkins. I know that one, you have to keep the deck extremely clean. And I used a thin, kind of like an oil on it. This is the rail that's broke off that I got to fix. A thin layer of lubricant on the deck. The problem with doing that is it attracts dust. But once I fix my guides on the inside, it works pretty well most of the time. It does occasionally stop. But it also has 2 layers. It has a thin plastic layer that's supposed to be lubricated. So I'm not sure if this one's supposed to be the same way. I'll check the box if it has any instructions for maintenance. It's possible. Apparently. There we go. Pulled too much of the wire out. Just checking the fitment, making sure it's good. And making sure that the wires aren't stuck in where the screw goes, so I don't run a screw through the wires. So, if you have this piece, you know what to do as far as how to take it apart. Remove all the outer edge screws. Remove the screws that hold on the canopy, which there's 4 of. And then take the canopy off, lift the center out, the center section, the handrail area, and then you can unscrew the center screws to get the racetrack out. And now that I got it screwed to the canopy, I can tip it over. Got 1 screw in. And if you're having intermittent issues once you get all these screws out, it may just be your gears have come loose. But if not, you can see where the gears are as far as to check them. You might have a broken belt, which is easily accessible once you take out the dozen screws. And then if your cars are jerky, like these are, it's possible it's the cars, the bottom of the cars themselves, the little matting they put on it to slide on the plastic. I'll probably clean the cars with some alcohol and get all the stuff off the bottom and clean the deck. Make sure there's no debris on it. Try it again. If that doesn't work, you might put a very thin layer of a lubricant on it. And see if that helps with the jitteriness of the cars. And part of it might be that the track's not fully screwed down. It's only got 4 of the 8 screws that hold it in. This is a track screw. Now it's possible that the track isn't close enough to the rotating magnets. That is also very important on the Lemax pumpkin one, that if the track starts to lift, it's too far from the magnets, and then the cars don't move. So we'll tighten the track down real quick, flip it over, and give it another whirl. Alright, now all the screws are tight. Get the magnet out of the way. Plug it back in. Turn it back on. Apparently I bumped the volume. No, the cars are still jittery, but they're moving faster. So I think the deck of the has to be screwed down tight for the magnets to work right. And as far as that railing goes, let's get that glued in real quick before I forget. So I prefer the Gorilla Glue with the yellow top that has the brush for things like this. I can put a little drop in each one of the holes, grab the fence that was laying inside the package when I got it, and push it down, and we're good. So yeah, that's how you open and access the Bump and Go racers from the World's Fair section of the Gold Label Mr. Christmas. Okay. There is no date on here, so I can't tell you the year. Let me see if it's on the box, just in case you want to try and find it yourself. Well, there's no date, but the original purchase sticker is on here, which is was $110 whenever this thing came out. So, yeah. No, not a lot to repair on this one. At least you get to see it if you've never seen it before. I've never seen it before. And you get to see how to take it apart. A handful of screws in the bottom. And you get to see that underneath this house or tent here, is the drive mechanism, which has the motor and the transfer gears. If you have this piece and it's intermittently stopping, take it apart, check the tightness of the gears. Maybe your belt's bad and you need to change the belt. But as you can tell, since I've turned it on, cars might be jittery, but they haven't physically stopped moving. So I believe what's happening was when I tightened it, the teeth were like this and they lined back up. I think it might have either been spinning or catching and then slipping the belt. So this one's pretty decent for probably being 20 years old. Missing one car based on the numbers on the hoods, missing one character, and it's missing a poster that goes on the inside, but it's part of a larger display, and it's actually a pretty neat piece. So hopefully you enjoyed it. At least if you didn't get to see anything majorly repaired, you got to see maybe something you've never seen before. So until the next one, thanks for watching.